Hello, my friends, welcome back to another episode of r/ProRevenge, where a lot of you join me every day to get your daily dose of satisfaction, because we all love to hear stories of people getting what they deserve. Guys, in this episode, there's going to be two stories. The first is a revenge on a crappy upstairs neighbor that will leave you smiling with satisfaction. Hopefully. The second is a juicy revenge where OP gets back at his fiance, who basically used him during the time they were together. I hope you guys stay for the stories today and subscribe for future videos. This first story is titled, Don't Block My Car In. So my wife and I live in an old Victorian style house in a college town, split into two rental suites, our 2-bedroom downstairs and a 4-bedroom upstairs. The first year, it was occupied by nursing students who were great. They all finished their rotations and moved out, and then we got a set of MBA students who were douches. At first, we thought, oh, they're young. We'll politely complain when they don't clean up their dog crap, have loud keggers, or play Call of Duty so loud that it rattles our windows downstairs, and they'll just stop. Well, they didn't. Their response to our request were annoyance and non-compliance, which opened up the door for me to engage in passive-aggressive revenge tactics, and I have many stories from the year they resided above us. One Monday morning, after a pretty raging party upstairs, I came outside to find my car blocked in by the upstairs neighbor. Let's call him Dick. Now, in the lease agreement, we were the ones that had exclusive use of the driveway. The upstairs renters were supposed to park on the street. However, they often parked behind us when street parking was scarce, so I always had to knock on the door to get them to move so I could go to work. This one morning, though, there was a problem. Dick had left that morning on spring break vacation, and he won't be back for 2 weeks. After I'd recovered from contemplating exactly how much of a syphilis-ridden wanksock of a human being you'd have to be to illegally park in your downstairs neighbor's driveway and then leave for 2 weeks, I rang the non-emergency police line and explained the situation. They tried to contact Dick to no avail, so my legal recourse was to have the car towed to a legal vacant spot on the street at my own expense, which, given that I had to go to work, it's exactly what I would have to do. While I was waiting for the tow truck, I hatched a mature and juvenile revenge plan. Juvenile revenge plan first. I got a bottle of .3 brake fluid and a rag out, and utilizing the extent of my artistic abilities, I painted a big old cock and balls on the hood, with a pew 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 stream of pee going over the windshield to the roof, and I left it to bake in. The mature part of the plan came to fruition when the tow truck arrived. Our city often does street sweeping, and tow cars enthusiastically when doing so. They had just put up signs down one side of the street notifying that they would be sweeping in 4 days, and to please find alternative parking, or risk being towed. I saw a spot on the side of the road for Dick's car where he often parks, and had the driver put it there. I let him in on the plan, as he was contracted to tow cars for the city that day. He giggled a lot at my slowly emerging cock and balls artwork, and said he'd try to pick up Dick's car early, knowing that if he was away for 2 weeks, his company would be able to rack up a nice storage fee. The day came for street sweeping. The whole street was empty, except for Dick's car, and the tow truck driver who moved the car off the driveway came straight to Dick's car and towed it. I had dropped a note in Dick's mailbox explaining, without being rude, "Hey, you blocked my car in the other day and you went on vacation, and I had to get your car moved at my own expense so I could go to work. I had it moved to the spot where you normally parked." Cue him coming back from vacation and furiously pounding on my door asking, "Where's my car?" I explained that I moved it to the other side of the street, into the parking spot that he usually parks in because neither the police nor I could contact him, and that the city had to sweep the street last Thursday, and they towed it. I told him he'd have to call the city, and he stormed off, furious, only to return a few hours later. Apparently, the combination of the city's fine, the tow fee, and 10 days of storage totaled over $1,000, and he threw a fit that his car had been vandalized at the tow yard. He demanded that I pay, and I politely declined, suggesting that he might try small claims court if he could demonstrate that I've done anything I was liable for. He never took me up on the offer. The artwork had come out great. The car had been left in the rain, so the cock and balls on the hood of the Civic had rusted in. Apparently it even earned him the nickname of Dick Wheels in class. So before this revenge story, I actually didn't know that .3 brake fluid on cars' paint would do what it does, and I did some Googling and found this little chart. So apparently brake fluid contains glycol, which causes a chemical reaction on paints, breaking it down. So not only did OP cause Dick to have $1,000 in fees to get his car back, he'll probably have to repaint the hood or just scrap the car. I would just sell the car, dude. You have a big, giant PP on it that's PPing. Oh, that revenge was too good. This next story's titled, If You Break Me, I Systematically Destroy Your Entire Life. I apologize up front for the rather lengthy post, but it's all true and it's my greatest revenge. It all starts about 10 years ago. I was happily engaged to a girl who I knew for about 9 years, but had only been dating about 1 year. Let's call her Nancy. All was good. She had the dream engagement ring, we had a nice house together, both had steady jobs, and the wedding plans were coming along nicely. About 2 months prior to the wedding, we found out that we were going to have a baby. Such happiness had never been felt before. Wedding plans continued, and the big day was only 28 days away. I come home from work one day and find that Nancy isn't home. I called her to see if she got held up at work and to see what time she might be home, but Nancy wasn't at work. She was at her grandmother's house in another state. Nancy calmly told me that she no longer wanted to get married and that she was not coming home. Complete and utter shock. What just happened? I try to call her back and her phone was off. I call her grandmother and no answer. What about the wedding? What about our baby? What about everything? No answers, no contact for 3 days. 3 days of no breath in my body. 3 days of me not eating, not sleeping, and barely being able to think. On day 4, Nancy shows up and starts packing her stuff. She won't say a word to me. Nothing. It's like she's a totally different person. She leaves and sends me an email saying that she can't be with me. Again, no reasons. I begin calling her sister asking what happened. Her sister tells me that she has no idea, but gives me their mom's phone number. Strange. For the year that we've been dating, Nancy said her mom was out of the picture because she was an alcoholic. Nevertheless, I call mom, and mom tells me that I'm lucky number 3 who's fallen for this trap. I learn everything. Her mom told me that Nancy had cut mom out of her life so mom couldn't ruin Nancy's game of milking guys for money and resources. Nancy's been pregnant twice before and had miscarriages, and basically took advantage of guys for everything she could before running off to her super Christian grandmother's house and claiming that the guys always cheated on her and left her with nothing. In turn, grandma will take her in until the dust settles and she can do it again. What in the world? Weeks go by and still no contact with Nancy. I've lost 20 pounds and have been counseled at my job for poor work performance. My family's livid. Family members lost money on travel plans to the wedding, and I'm mortified. I lost all the deposits on everything for the wedding since it was less than 30 days before it was cancelled. I'm piss broke. My joint bank account with Nancy showed a whopping negative $2,000. I guess I won't be paying the mortgage this month. I start to get a grip, and my sadness turns to rage. I had so much anger inside of me that I actually had to scale it back a bit, or else I might have gone to prison. A month and a half later, I get a text from Nancy out of the blue saying, "I had a miscarriage. You stressed me out so much that our daughter's dead." Daughter? I was having a daughter? You're blaming me for this? I thought, that's it. I'm going to wreck her. A few days of Xanax and whiskey get me over the hump of sadness again, and I was back to rage. And I thought, let's do this. Most of Nancy's stuff was still at my house, which I have to walk away from because I can no longer afford it, and I start to pack it all up to get rid of it somehow. But I stumble upon a few things. Her resume and her checkbook to her personal account. I read her resume. It's all fake crap like everything else. I hop on the computer, create a new Yahoo email address, and send a long letter to her corporate office telling them line by line how it's all lies. That feels good. Operation Checkbook. I sign her name on every check and rip them all out of the book. I drive 30 minutes to the seediest part of town and leave them on a sidewalk in front of an AM/PM for anybody to grab. I go back home and throw out all of her stuff. 2 weeks go by. Nancy calls, and I don't answer. The voicemail says she got laid off due to cutbacks, and I know that's not true. 2 more weeks go by, and letters from some district attorney's bad check restitution program begin to trickle into the mail. Oh, and the registration renewal for her car? I shredded it. I hear through a mutual friend that since Nancy's out of work and now she's staying with friends, she's being supported financially by super Christian grandmother. Nuh-uh. I hop on the laptop and make a new Yahoo email address that's only one number different from Nancy's real email. I email super Christian grandma a video of Nancy performing some pleasuring acts on herself that I'd saved, making sure to find one where she's really into it, with all of the right expressions on her face. I titled the email, "Hey Grandma, check out this new video audition I'm doing for my new job. Let me know what you think." The email reply was, "You are disgusting. I hope your new job pays well because I'm not supporting you if you act like that." Oh, I wasn't expecting that. A 2-for-1 deal, embarrassment and financial distress. Weeks go by, and I get a call from Rent-A-Center. Oh, they want all of Nancy's furniture back. I had no idea that it was rent to own. I tell them I don't have it, and they argue that she says I have it. I stick to my guns and tell them that I don't have it and that I don't know where it is. That night, I burn it all in the yard. $4,200 worth of furniture that she owes. I find out that Nancy has a new job, and as I'm planning my next move, I hear great news. Nancy's been arrested and is in jail for embezzlement. Apparently, she had some money problems and stole $5,000 out of petty cash and got busted. Oh god, this is great. She's screwed. Months go by with no updates, and then I hear from a friend that she was bailed out of jail from grandma after taking a plea bargain for a felony conviction and 3 years probation along with restitution. I hang my hat and call it a day. I've gotten my revenge. A few months later, the phone rings. It's a repo company looking for info on where Nancy is because they're trying to repossess her car. Okay, one last nail in the coffin. I make a few calls and find the address of where she's staying. I call the repo company back and give them the info. They thank me and say that I'm eligible for a $100 reward if they get the car back. And I said, no thanks, this one's on me. In the end, Nancy's now a felon, jobless, a single mom of a kid that she recently had from some random guy, and she lives in an apartment with her brother and his girlfriend. I'm happily married with a beautiful daughter and a great life. And yesterday, I get a Facebook message from Nancy. It said, "Congrats on the marriage and daughter, I'm glad you're happy." I reply, "Go fuck yourself," and she blocked me. Life's good. Sometimes taking the low road heals the soul. What a crazy revenge. And an even crazier girl that OP had hooked up with. I can't imagine the pain OP was feeling when she basically ghosted him, with the wedding being 3 weeks away, and her being quote-unquote pregnant with his child. Talk about your whole world crumbling in a day or two. What a line though. Sometimes taking the low road heals the soul. I'll have to keep that in mind. And that's it for today's episode of r/ProRevenge. Guys, if you enjoyed the 2 stories today, let me know in the comments what you think. If you aren't subscribed, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss future revenge stories. See you guys in the next one.